We're live.
Hello.
Yeah, we always have the best starts to our streams.
Today I've got curry. That's my start.
Hey, curry's good. You never know when you need some good curry
I mean, I do.
in your life. Every day?
This
Is
is
it
my
every day?
food. Every day.
Yeah. Cool. Well, apart from the obvious chewing noises that we're getting, it's fine. No
Gone.
slurping? No slurping? Okay. I wanted some slurping. I'm disappointed. Yeah. Well, now you're getting yelled at. It's fine. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Crypto Talks again, where we do super awkward intros and forget that we're supposed to be live, kind of, and then we are live.
We're always live.
So
In our
yeah,
minds, we're always here for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I actually assumed normally when we aren't sure about start time, Phil does it at 5 past, and so I thought I was okay. And then I said what time we started, and Phil said 12 seconds. So at that point, I was nearly finished. So
It's too late.
yeah,
You planned it right, but I didn't give you extra time this time.
you didn't
So
give me any time. So yeah,
it's fine. We're cool. We're good.
we're good.
Anyway, so this week was kind of interesting. We've had some interesting developments, and some stuff actually happened for once. Like, not really with Bitcoin though, which is
no.
why we kind of thought we'll just look at Bitcoin real quick, and then we're gonna sidestep and take a look at XRP, obviously, because they seem to be winning their case. And then we're gonna have a look at Solana as well, because Solana has actually made some moves for the past couple of weeks. So we thought, why not take a look at that?
I mean, it's made moves for the whole time. It's just this is the first time these moves aren't down. It's quite pleasant.
Well, it's down now, but that's just very.
Yeah.
The reason why I want to bring Solana up specifically is because normally, when you look at Solana, kind of does what everything else does, like everything else does. But they had an update with some cool bridge breakthroughs, which made them, interesting to a lot of people. He started moving up, broke into an uptrend, confirmed uptrend, and since then stuff happened. Ripple is doing their thing with the SEC case. XRP made a huge move, and then Solana kind of just followed along with that, even though Bitcoin kind of just fell asleep. So it's interesting to see what's happening. Things are a bit different to normal, but so we'll just take a look at Bitcoin real quick, and then we can kind of go over and have a look at.
I'm just stealing a mouse from the computer next to me.
Oh,
so,
stealing.
Yeah,
he's stealing.
I'm stealing.
Call the Rossers or whatever they're called in the UK.
Oh no, they're called Rozzers. That's the official term.
Oh really? Cool.
Yeah. Rozzers.
Great. All right, cool. So anyway, Bitcoin TA is the same as it's been since I think
forever. Bitcoin has never not been $30,000.
Well, if you've been here for the past year,
I mean,
you will recognize all this stuff, so we don't have to go over it again. However, this trend line that we were talking about pretty much through the whole stream last time, we were hoping that it would hold. And it's not really held. It might be a fake out here with a downturn and then coming back up again during the week. Who knows? But for now, I'm just going to zoom in just slightly here. For now, that it's broken that 3 days, 4 days red.
And that candle, the candle it broke it with, is horrifically bearish. As much as it hasn't broken the range yet, to break out and then turn around, and replay the whole day, and then break lower with a full bullish engulfing candle, and breaking the downtrend. Yeah, not good.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say here is, just to clarify, normally when you see a topping signal, you would see something like this, a huge wick on top, and then it would kind of start moving down. So that wick is usually kind of a bearish signal. However, this day didn't get a huge candle, but it got a wick. But instead, we got the next day opened, it went up a little bit and then just crashed down far. And this red candle is larger than this green candle, which makes it a bearish engulfing candle because it engulfs the entire candle, previous candle. So this is a very bearish signal. And then after that, we're looking at 3 consecutive days of down, but not hard down. So it's kind of holding this this box that I think we drew this box kind of during the stream somewhere, something like that. It's holding this box, so it's volatile within the box, but it's not much up and down. It's between 29.7 ish or something like that, up to 31.5, I think 31.5. Yeah. So yeah, it's still
a fairly narrow range, and it's been here forever.
Yeah, and it's boring. So, which is why that's all we're going to say today, except for Bitcoin, except, we might see it come back down to this line, which is what Rob predicted in the first place when we started bouncing on it. We should probably see, when we slow down, you were like, we're going to see it come back.
Last week I did say, as things stand, things looking bullish, and we had that opportunity to break up, and it did break up, but then completely shit its pants afterwards. So it was a sign, that the technicals were primed for a bullish breakout. It went for it, but there was just simply no strength to follow through on it, and the bears have taken advantage of that and completely now flipped flip the pattern, because after that drop I was like, okay, not great, but let's see if it where it goes from there, if it can rally up. And it's gone nope. From then it's just it's been red candles. So the price doesn't lie. And I was hopeful a couple of days ago but no, it's not. That's fading. So really does need to see some strength soon.
And what I can add to this is that we with the Bollinger Bands being this narrow now, we're expecting to see, when it narrows like that, we're expecting to see it open up again in any direction, really. And currently, since we're below the midline on the Bollinger, for me, that says it's probably going to go down. However, RSI was topped out over here. And this is the daily, obviously. And now it's been moving sideways, and the RSI is coming back down to kind of the midline, which it may or may not use as support at this point. Any lines, think about that, any lines could act as support or resistance depending on which way you're hitting it from. So looking at this RSI right here, I can say, we can still make a move up to make it, crash through the top hard. But we can also get this type of thing where we get just falling down, and then we have this big downtrend where the RSI kind of just goes sideways. So we can't really expect anything, but I'm hoping to see some sort of bounce here on the RSI where it's like, actually, you know what, poof, fake out, whatever. Because overall, with the sentiment, thanks to, in large part, at least in the short term, that the Ripple case with the SEC is actually looking pretty good for the crypto space as an industry. It's making the sentiment for Bitcoin and everything else in the space kind of looking more, hopeful. So we'll see what happens, really. Bitcoin does Bitcoin, right? So
Bitcoin's going to do Bitcoin things, and all we can do is just sit and admire it while it does Bitcoin things.
Yeah, I don't really want to look at it anymore.
I generally don't. I look at Bitcoin literally once a week, unless something exciting's happened, like really exciting. But no, generally I look at it on Monday before we do the show, and because I don't need to see what's happened day to day. I'll go, okay, what's happened through the week.
Yeah, and honestly, doing this TA that we do every week, we make our predictions and we say, if it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down, and the next, bus stop is basically on this line, and I don't think it's gonna go straight down to this line tomorrow. right? I'll give it a couple of days to kind of move boringly sideways or slightly down until it gets to that line. And if it's going to go sideways, it'll hit the line on the 26th of August, right? So like, I don't need to look at this. I know I get my notifications. If it crashes down 10% in a day, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, my phone is yelling at me. So I'm not really looking at it either. So, but yeah, that's what we got for Bitcoin really today. I mean, if it breaks down, we're going to go to the line. If we break that line, we're going to the fib level again, right here. And then we've been saying that for ages. If it goes up, it's going to have to go up to this fib level. That's all I can say. We just need a confirmation if it's going to break a new all-time high and if it's going to carry on doing that. So then we'll know. But for now, we're just waiting. Sorry, it's boring, I know, but it's true.
Tis boring.
It is boring.
Tis boring. Yeah.
So, do you want to show something on your screen? Because I saw you just shared your screen there, Rob.
So you can pop up what I put on and say this is like the S&P is like, this is something I remember was last time that I talked about the S&P, that we have this habit of, when it rolls over, it doesn't roll over. The big collapse never comes immediately out of nowhere. There's always there's always sort of a bit of warning with some exceptions, being the COVID crash, obviously.
Yeah, it's a black swan.
But even the COVID crash, there was a kind of warning. There was a warning it was coming. Here, 2015, 16 didn't avoided a recession, but there was a very big slowdown in that period. And you see this sort of times when the stock market rolls over, it doesn't just go boom all at once. It rolls over and it shows you the pattern that's kind of happening as as the recession gets led into. And if you look at where we are currently, and I'll say I've not changed anything, I've kept what we had previously. I drew this suggesting, okay, we're actually in the, we may be forming some sort of channel, and we completely ignored everything I said and went, and the S&P is currently nearly back at all-time highs. Mm-hmm. Can anybody tell me why the S&P is at all-time highs, or give me a single good fucking reason why the S&P is at all-time highs? Because I can't. No. There's the financial conditions are substantially tighter now than they were 2 years ago, and that fundamentally downgrades stocks. Lending standards are up, which means people are struggling to get on and take on more credit. That's not good for growth. People are struggling to everything across the board says that right now the stock market is overvalued. And there's one thing that we notice is that Bitcoin, what I've noticed over generally, is that Bitcoin tends to top and reverse before stocks do. And I think if we see, it'd be interesting to see if Bitcoin is being a bit of a leading indicator, because to me this looks completely overcooked. We're approaching overbought territory, whilst is everyone just saying things are going to be fine? Is that it? Recession cancelled?
There are talks about a soft landing actually happening, and I'm just like, what? Whatever.
and the evidence is that a credit crunch is coming, and we can see this. You can see it clearly. Say obviously that it's not decided not to fall over yet, but as we said, this doesn't have to fall over until next year.
Yeah,
it could even bust out to new all-time highs, but there's a nice little.
I mean, just remember the previous Bitcoin peak where we had a technical peak and we had an actual peak where the technical peak was higher up, and that was kind of just. Well, I can't really tell you why that was, but it's a double top the previous, right? So it's. Sentiment wasn't really that good then either.
Oh, I've done this the wrong way around.
Uh-oh,
US.
Hey guys, you see, Rob also makes boo-boos sometimes.
Yeah, once in a while. So I'm going to just do that, and then I'm just going to put on the S&P over the top of it. So S&P is here in orange, and this lovely little white indicator, which we've talked about before, is the yield curve, which is, so there's lots of yield curves, and they basically refer to the interest rate paid on different duration bonds for the US, which is super duper boring, but it's very, very important, because what it basically shows is, in theory, in a normal functioning economy, the longer you borrow money for, the higher the interest rate, presumably, right? If you borrow money for 10 years, you expect to pay a higher interest rate than for 2 years. And currently that's not the case. You can get 1% more per year buying 2-year bonds than you can by buying 10-year bonds. And that is absolutely backwards as fuck. And it basically means that the financial system can't make money, because the financial system bets they lend to you over, they lend to you over sort of very long term, and they borrow very short term. So they want to be borrowing for 2 years and lending the same money to you for 10 years, and they pocket the difference, right? But at the moment, they can't do that. And if you look at this, what we see with this inversion is the horizontal white line is 0%, break even. And we always see this drop into negative before a recession.
Yep.
Even 2020, you see, I talk about, 2020, a recession was coming no matter what. COVID was a cause, and it made it very, very short and very sharp and very quick, but there was due to be a recession anyway.
Yep.
And it was, we now see a very, very deeply inverted yield curve, and the only way to fix it is to lower interest rates.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the longer they hold the interest rates, and we know that they're going to try and hold interest rates as long as they can, but the longer they hold them, the more and more stress the banking system gets put under, because it can't make any money. It can't properly allocate capital, and something breaks. Eventually, they just go, no, we've got no capacity to borrow money, because if we can't, there's nowhere that we can actually say we're going to borrow here and then lend you that money, which is how the financial system works. You can't, you have to borrow in order to create new money. And if people can't borrow, then no new money can be created. And if money can't be created, then no growth, essentially, in economic terms. And it's that, and if there's no growth, that's recession.
Yep. And we're waiting for the green to pop up on the screen right there, right now, right?
Well, but as it stands, it's not.
That's what
I say, if we look at this, just look at this picture, and we know what happens. We know what comes next, because, these interest rates are currently completely unsustainable. I saw at the current expectations, the US debt, the interest payments could rise up to something like 1.2 trillion soon. I think it's by the end of next year, which would make interest on the debt the largest single US expenditure, ahead of military, ahead of Medicare, ahead of welfare. Anything would be just interest.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
it's going to be horrible. I mean, it's already horrible, to be fair, but yeah, I mean, just like if you're watching this right now, just take a screenshot of this picture right here, and then show it to people that you care about and say, hey, just so you know, these lines are going to go back the other way, and so put your seatbelts on.
I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I've got a few stocks that I've been sitting on and deciding, do I just hold them? And so I'm looking at this and going, when do you start shorting the shit out of everything?
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
preferably in November 2022.
Well, yeah, but say that. Well, ideally, yeah. But no, that goes for Bitcoin as well. I did a little something on the same lines. I was just having a little play at lunchtime today, and I was thinking about because the DXY for people. I'll just have a look, put that on quickly. And that's one reason as well why things have been going up, is because the DXY has been falling like a stone. But say here's the stock market price, and here's the DXY. Actually, I'll just invert the DXY, and yeah, we can see when it makes big moves. Like, not say. The funny thing is, not always, but recently we've seen it have this big move since COVID, where we've seen all of this global liquidity just tied into the dollar.
Yeah.
And as the dollar makes moves up, it squashes everything, and it basically it sucks all the liquidity out of everything when it goes up. And now we've seen it give back that liquidity. If I just uninvert it, you've seen the dollar rise, everything else falls, and we've just, so all this stock market rally it's just the dollar giving back liquidity. It's not built on any fundamentals. All it is just market forces and basically just bots. This is what you see right now is just robots deciding the price of things, and there's no real valuation in anything. And unfortunately, we get to this scenario that when the stock market does decide to roll over, when the economy decides to roll over, the dollar's going to scream higher because it's the place of safety, and everything else as a result gets dragged down, and that includes Bitcoin. So we don't know when and if the crash comes. The dollar could keep on coming all the way down to this midline, sort of 97, 98, in which case the party's going to carry on for a while longer. But at some point when the dollar bottoms and starts to come higher, that's kind of the warning sign to look out for at the moment. I'm actually watching the DXY more often than I'm watching the S&P and stuff like that. It's just easier, honestly. Either way, let's kick on to the next part here. Oops, I shared too much there. So we did say we want to just touch on Bitcoin and then kind of some stuff, and we do need to look at XRP and Solana. I'll go ahead and just pop up Solana here quickly because I just got a really quick one on this one. I've actually had a few people ask me about Solana this week, or this weekend. So I'll show you what I got right here. And I hold Solana myself, just to clarify that, which is why my TA looks like it does. I don't normally show that on here, but this is what I got on Solana right here. After the bottom, we had a huge pump up, and then it's been kind of moving slowly downwards, but in a range, right? And Solana started an uptrend, broke out here on the daily, and then they had this update. I'm not going to go into it too much, but they figured out a bridge that is non-custodial, and people got interested, and the price shot up like this. And since then, it's been kind of just moving and moving and moving. And then this big green candle here is the Ripple announcement right here. So what happened was, during all that, we broke out, first of all, through this line right here, this long one. I don't think I can mark it, but this one, which is a very long-term downtrend line, which Bitcoin broke ages ago, because Solana has been pretty weak against Bitcoin as well. But we broke through this long term right here, which is why I'm removing it right now. But we broke through that, and after that, we were moving basically steadily upwards. And then we also broke through this fairly long trend line, which is all the way from, I guess, August of last year. So it's almost a year ago. And, obviously here we got the FTX crash, which it's anchored on. And it's bounced on here, and then it broke through it, kind of went back and bounced on it again for support, and then it went up, which is a good sign, right? And now we've broken through this, and we've created a higher high, finally. Now we just need to create a higher low, a proper one, which for me means a correction down to somewhere where we can actually see a significant, like, V-shape type thing, like we did on Bitcoin right here, for example, right? So for Solana, it's looking pretty good right now, because the only thing that's kind of holding it back right now is this area here with all the volume. That goes back all the way to this as well. So from the price where it is right now, which is about $26, it's got a range to kind of move in, if this holds, obviously, between $26 and about $39. Oh, sorry, $39. Yeah, here. And I'm kind of just waiting for this to play out now. I'm holding my bag. I'm not planning on selling anything right now. I have hopes that it will move up to 39 or maybe even higher, sort of like here, 48, but can't really make predictions on an altcoin right now. So I'm just waiting for the trends to play out, and when it breaks a pattern,
that's when I get out. And that's my thinking here. So right now it's not doing anything else than kind of just slowly correcting. If it holds this line at 26 from here and then comes above this one at 27, I hope it's going to carry on going, because I don't really see much that holds it back except for this volume right here until this top at 39. So I'm sort of bullish on Solana right now. I'm always going to be bullish on Solana, but short term I'm kind of bullish right now. And short term for me means the next month and something like that. And that's Solana for me. You got anything fun to add, Rob, to Solana? You're a huge Solana fanboy.
You can just maybe flick onto my chart a sec.
Well, since you asked so nicely.
Which is our good old trusty Bitcoin dominance, which, as we can see a few days ago, when that announcement happened, took a big poo. It dropped 51.5% down to 50%, which is pretty substantial if you think between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, and USDC, they own something along the lines of 80% of the market. So altcoins making a 1.5% gain in dominance is, it's substantial.
Yeah.
But what we've seen since then, after that sort of pumps happened, is we've seen that sort of bottom and maybe now starting to reverse. We're now starting to see Bitcoin sort of take control again and go, okay, let's this was just news based. There's no real fundamental reason that altcoins have just jumped up. Then, Solana is not 20% more valuable than it was yesterday, or 80% more valuable than it was yesterday. XRP isn't 80% more valuable than it was a week ago. It's pure speculation. And the thing with those speculative pumps is they have a habit of basically just getting faded. And they may hold on to some gains if it's part of a larger bullish structure, but so if you see a move like that happen in Solana, but unless you see sort of follow through in the price, then when it comes to next month and you're looking at your DCA, do you go, let's put my money into Solana, which is 100% up over the last month, or let's put it into Polygon, which is 20% up over? I know Polygon had a good big pump as well, but put it into something that's down, that I'm interested in as well. I'm going to try and get the bargain, the thing that's not had the big breakout recently. And although sometimes these things can run and maybe it will, but it's just just be cautious. Don't go chasing, especially don't go chasing now. Like, even if it pumped further, at some point it's going to shit 50%, because go back and look at how many times Solana, Polygon, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, go and have a look at how many times they've dropped 50% or more. It's a lot. It happens very regularly. And even if you might miss out on the odd bargain, if you stick to the discipline more often than not of I'm only going to buy things after they've dropped significantly, then you'll end up a bit happier, because
I'd like to add to what you said there, because you're right. I mean, so one of the things that got me to react to Solana's previous move with the XRP case was that first they had a great announcement and they started an uptrend. Everything else was just flat, right? And then so that's this whole section here, the middle section of this uptrend. And then we had the announcement, things went up, and then the day after everything started going down. But Solana had this huge up pump after that and carried on, and then had this huge wick, which is a bearish sign, right? So that was speculative moves, right? And that's what it is. But the reason to why I'm reacting to this is because if you look at the structure in Solana here, we have a daily uptrend, which is pretty significant, right? Which is good. And Solana has great fundamentals and all these things. It's a great project. I like Solana for what it is. I think for me, it's a good investment, which is why I'm invested in it. If you compare that to the pump that Matic had, which is this is Matic, by the way. They had an uptrend as well, but they had this big pump, and then the day after it started going down straight away, basically, while Solana was pumping. You had the same thing with, I think Cardano did the same thing. Yep. Huge pump, and then directly while this was happening, Solana was still going up and breaking through, resistance levels. So I think the reason why Solana did that is because they already had a bullish sentiment behind them that was carrying the price up, and then they had good news, more, liquidity going in. So for me, this is looking pretty good. And if you're interested in Solana, for example, if you wanted to buy, you shouldn't buy around here. You're not going to buy around here. This is ridiculous to buy here. I would at least wait for some kind of retest of either this trend line after it bounces on it, or even this one right here to retest this previous top, which was resistance here. That's what I would wait for, because before that on the way down or even up here, it's probably not a great idea. To be honest, you got to wait for that confirmed bounce somewhere. And again, it's an altcoin. It's extremely volatile, so if you really believe in Solana and you think it's going to be the best investment during this decade, well, then it doesn't matter what the price is now, to be fair. If you're planning on holding it for 10 years, then why do you care if it's $26 or $25, really? But yeah, either way, let's skip on over to XRP right away, Rob. I think you got a better look at XRP than I did, because I've never really been interested. But I'll show you what I got so far. I'll show you what I got so far. It's super simple, and I think you probably have about the same. This is on the weekly scale on XRP. So we have this huge old high back in January 2018, and then I've just pulled to the previous market top, which for XRP was in April of 21. And since then we had that downtrend. So unless we break out through this, for me, XRP is kind of boring, for me. And sure, I know as a Bitcoin pair, it's looking pretty good overall. It's a pretty good oscillator, but we broke through this line now, which is great. We did it with a speculative news pump, granted, but we'll see what this does. Really, so this is really what I have.
I've got my XRPTA on here.
Yeah. Let's see it. Yeah. I know you've looked at it many times before. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So $125 is the upside. Any day now.
Please don't. Not on this channel, Rob. Don't.
Any day. $589 is the big target. So 125 is at 80% lower than that. Easy.
So let's go for the real TA now.
Well, actually, if you want to be real, like genuinely, it looks cool. It looks fine. I mean, uptrending, broken out.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Long term.
I think XRP. You said talking about the Bitcoin pairs.
I like, but before you go over. Okay, never mind. Well, it was funny that
we can go back.
Well, if you look at where we just got that, it's very fitting that we had this huge news thing when we were at the bottom of that line, and just
very fitting. Well, that's the thing. If we hadn't have had the news there, probably it would have just meandered up, and just carried on doing what it was. There's no. Yep. This was not anything. And if you look at, if you just zoom into the daily. This is how XRP moves. It does nothing, and then it pumps out of nowhere, and then it shits on everyone's dreams, and that's just kind of how it goes. 2017, great. If you bought it at 0.6 cents, great, fantastic. When it went up to 30 cents, brilliant. But now it's already got a gigantic market cap, and it's got this habit of, this is what it does. It pumps and then it shits on you, and then it pumps and it shits on you. And all it's done, even when it's got formed uptrends, it still just makes everyone angry the entire way up by, just pumping and dumping the whole route, and it's never done anything different. So that's, you know, if you are an XRP holder, you really do have to just be patient, and it's a perfectly valid and easy thing to make money off, because you just accumulate it when it's low and wait for the gigapump, and then you sell. And the problem with that is that every time it gigapumps, there's always a very, very happy collection of profit takers, and that's why it can never get any real sustained momentum, because it's too easy to trade.
Yeah, and I'll say this though. I don't know the exact number, but I believe that whales are holding like ridiculous amounts of XRP, and all these XRP holders that are investing in it and keeps buying it, like you're buying that whole group, that whole cohort is buying such a small amount of the XRP that's in circulation, and then everything that's not in circulation is held by Ripple. Right, and they can dump on you, but not that I think they will. They've never really dumped all of that at once before, and I think they're quite a serious. I mean, they're fighting the SEC. They're taking things seriously. I don't think that they're trying to mess with people's savings. I doubt that.
I would
honestly.
Hope not.
I don't see why they would. They have a project that they believe in, right? So
yeah,
great, but.
I mean, there's one thing that absolutely cannot be taken away from Ripple or from XRP, and this is XRP versus Bitcoin. This chart goes back to 2015, and XRP is higher in Bitcoin value now than it was at the start of it, and that is you go and find and go. In fact, you know what? Come on, I can do it. We can go back to CoinMarketCap. If we just go to CoinMarketCap and let's do, they have, I can never remember where they keep it. Where do they keep there it is, historical snapshots. And if we go back to start of 2015, and you can see, Bitcoin $260, XRP 2 cents. Market cap, clearly number 2 back then. And it has lost sort of dominance. But if you look at the rest of them, how many have you heard of?
Yeah, it's basically Stellar, Dogecoin,
Stellar, Doge,
maybe Dash.
And I imagine that a lot of newer people won't have even heard of those. Yeah. But go through all of them. New shares, Monero's still going. Storage, bloody hell, Storage existed back then. But so like there was, most of these are just dead and buried and completely refined history, and yet XRP is arguably, well, it's not only surviving, but it's thriving because it's keeping pace with Bitcoin, and we can quite happily fanboy on Bitcoin together. That if you're beating Bitcoin, the same as Ethereum has so far, the same as XRP has, we still have to reserve judgment on the likes of Solana because it's not survived a full cycle yet. If you look at the likes of Cardano versus Bitcoin, it got close but it still didn't make an all-time high versus Bitcoin in 2021. It didn't manage to beat that 2017 high, and it's then lost. I've said I've done all of these ups, but let's see what can't remember what they were in relation to. But there you go, 94% down versus Bitcoin in the last cycle, and it's now currently sitting at 83% down versus Bitcoin this time round.
Yeah, it's better.
It's but, so far, but ultimately this isn't me shitting on Cardano. Say you can look at 99% of coins and they actually look much worse than this. Let's try
Solana looks worse, at least on my chart. I'll show that.
I'll say with Solana.
This is Solana on the weekly against Bitcoin, and this is from 2021. That's the oldest I could find just quickly, but it's not
now,
awesome.
So if you flip back to mine, you will see this is Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Again, this goes back to early 2014, and Litecoin back at 2014 was what we're looking at the start of 2014, January the 5th. Was $26, and it's now only $100. So
it's not a great investment unless you sold in tops.
Well, I will say one thing that looking at this, and I know that as much as people are, there aren't that many Litecoin fanboys, but I'm a bit of a Litecoin fanboy in that it's a degenerating oscillator. Litecoin, it looks shit for now, but if you consider Bitcoin as money, then Litecoin is money. Yeah. And there is a point at which, because they both are fundamentally sound money, as principally the same thing, then there is a point at which one becomes undervalued against the other, in exactly the same way that silver becomes undervalued relative to gold. And so this is a coin, the same as Bitcoin Cash, to be fair, as much as we don't want to talk about Bitcoin Cash, or Bitcoin Cash is fundamentally insecure, but that's a hash rate discussion, whereas Litecoin doesn't have that problem. But yeah, most of these alts will not beat Bitcoin long term, and so therefore, take profits into Bitcoin if nothing else, if not dollars.
Yeah. No, this is why I like to run some trading bots on Bitcoin pairs. I do have an ETH one. Actually, I just have an ETH one running right now. But this is why I keep saying I don't trade that much, or I try not to trade that much, because I don't like it. I prefer the longer term investment swing type stuff, where you get in on the bottom and you get out on the top with years between or something like that. I guess that's trading, but it's more like a smart investment stuff, like getting into the dollar at the peak of a market and then it falls over and you just hold the dollar. People go, oh, inflation. Yeah, but I would rather have 10% loss of purchasing power and gain 70% purchasing power against Bitcoin.
Well, there's a perfect example. I can give you a perfect example of that on how, looking at these comparatives and trying to choose who are the best horses for the races. My pension that I'm currently, I pay money into every month, but it's worth doing. It's the work one, so the choices, the fund choices, aren't very good, not very good at all, to the point where I can invest in various equity funds, which are just pots, not individual stocks. I can hold cash, or I can hold a whole variety of little baskets and stuff, but I can only hold UK bonds. I can't hold US bonds. And so this gives me a problem, is that if I think things are going to go badly, do I want to be in bonds? Do I want to be in cash? Or do I want to be in US stocks? Because although I can expect the stock market to go down, if I expect the dollar to go up, my stocks might actually be going up in sterling value.
Yeah, in relation to the British pound. Yeah,
and it might actually be, and this is a genuine thing, and this is why people think that US stocks are fundamentally forever overvalued. Yes, they are, and that's because if you live in a country with 30 or 40% inflation, Apple stock is less risky than your currency. Apple stock is a store of value. Apple stock is as good as Bitcoin to you. Oh, what are you looking at? Something surprising happened.
No, the daily candle on Bitcoin just got a little bit bigger. Downwards.
Downwards.
It's all red. I'll just do this here on the corner. I don't know if people can see this, but everything is kind of going down. Solana just started going down more. We're expecting it.
Yeah.
We're expecting to see that, so we're fine. It's boring. Let's see 15K again. Let's go.
Oh, imagine! Can you imagine the smell? It'd be great.
Yeah, it was so many burned brains.
Yeah. See, just having a look at the 1 hour at the moment, it's just pure sideways. I know right now it's got it's got a tinge of downwards since that top. It's not looked very nice, but if you zoom in and look away from just daily candles, it's just sideways. And as much as we've seen, as much as we see, you can go, oh, the price action looks like shit. Oh, and now we're breaking down. Well, perhaps there was just a big whale order that was stopping the price go up while they sit there, and now they're just accumulating on this drop before they giga pump it back up. As much as it barted down, it can bart right back up very, very easily. And so, yeah, for now, like the last few days look like AIDS, but it ain't broken down yet. So let's see it actually make a move before calling it bullish or bearish. For now, this is still it ain't broken down yet. It doesn't look good by any. Let's not get me wrong. It does not look good, but.
If we close a daily candle on Bitcoin below 29.8, we're gonna close it lower than we've ever closed it during this sideways move thing.
And so we've got this evening to kind of
just hang around and wait.
Up. Yeah, we'll
see.
So yeah.
Well, that's it. So we're done, actually. And I was gonna say hi to everybody who's in here because I can see people commenting and stuff. So hi Imre again, hi Dom, Becky, Cyrus, and Cyrus was late, but that's fine.
Late.
Yeah, no, it's not fine. You can't be late, dude. Come on, you gotta be here.
Maybe he's watching
3 hours before we start.
Maybe he's watching it back and he'll just hear us cussing him out in like 25 minutes.
That's fine. If you hear us cussing you out, that means we care about you. Cool. So we're gonna get going, guys. Thanks for watching. Yep. Again, you know what to do. Join the Discord, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Show this to everybody you know, or trees will die. That's bad because trees are good. So, but I'm gonna jump into the Discord for a little bit after this. If anybody wants to hop in and hang out for a while. But after a bit, I gotta go. So, we'll see you guys next time. It's we'll see. Maybe we can even manage a stream during the week. We'll see. But until then, cheerio. Bye.
Bye.